Well, this is unbelievable. August 1st, what a roller coaster. I started the day in the red. I did a red day recap. I was down $1,900, remember? And just now, in the last 5 minutes, we just saw a stock rip up 186% on breaking news after hours. As I said, I had some things I was doing with my two boys, my kids, this afternoon. So I was gone for the whole afternoon. I came back at 4 because I had some things I needed to wrap up in my office and my computer was still on. So I had some stuff I was going to do. I sit down and, I have my scan here for after hours momentum stocks. And at the time I saw VCNX. And I was like, oh, VCNX, interesting. Floats 600,000 shares. It's got breaking news. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'll take a stab on this. And I thought, look, I'll just take a small trade on this right in here. We get a little curl back up to 7. I had missed the initial move because I wasn't, I was out. I wasn't back yet. I wasn't sitting down, but got that little trade. And the next thing you know, VSEE is hitting my scanners. I look at it and I'm like, okay, there's news. 4:30 p.m. right here. I pull up the chart and I'm thinking, well, it's this was at $2.85. It pops up to 3, hits a high of 315. It dips down, it goes to 350. It goes up to 370. This thing goes up to 4. Micro pullback, then it goes up to a high of 432. Micro pullback, this thing rips to a high of 650. Pulls back and goes all the way to 7. I made $3,514 on it. I'm now up $1,988.78 on the day. The green streak has been preserved. 23 consecutive green days right now. Oh, holy smokes. What do we have? We've got something hitting the scanner. Okay, it's VSEE hitting the running up scanner, which means it's bouncing. So it's bouncing right here. Now, to be honest, a little cautious about getting back in this thing. The only reason is I'm kind of pushing, honestly, I'm pushing my luck. I don't think we're going to get, whoa, holy smokes, a move to 785. Let me show you the level 2. That just hit 785. But then look at how fast it came back down to 688. See how you have that topping tail? So this is where it is good to sort of temper that FOMO a little bit. Like, well, hold up, take a breath. Don't just go market into this thing. So that just hit a high of 220% from the close. It actually peaked there at 754. I saw 780s on the level 2, but it didn't print that high. So there was an order on the ask that high, but it didn't print that high. To be fair, I actually gave back $300 off the top. I was up $2,300 on the day, and I added back 500 shares at 583 right here as it was curling back up. And then I stopped out. So I was like, you know what? Let's call it good. We're kind of playing with fire here, trading after hours. This is just, to be honest, is a time of day that carries a fair amount of risk. So we're sitting here. It's 4:53 p.m. and I'm honestly blown away here at this momentum after hours. What prompted me here to check the scans was that for the last couple days, we've been seeing after-hour moves. So today, BBLG. When did BBLG start? After hours yesterday, right? It started after hours. What did we have the day before? The day before we had, someone remind me, what did we have the day before? It was Monday going into Tuesday. Then we had Tuesday going into Wednesday. We've had multiple days here where we've had the moves start after hours and then continue into the next day. But right now I'm just blanking on the ticker. So anyways, nonetheless, doesn't matter. Because we've been noticing this theme, I was just like, all right, well, let's just, I've got to sit down here anyways. I got to send a couple emails and pay a couple bills, whatever, turn off my computers and then be done for the day. Let's just see if there's anything up. Because I thought if there's something up, then that's just going to give me a gauge of what to expect for tomorrow, essentially, right? NUZE, thank you. So NUZE, this one was, I think Monday into Tuesday or something like that, Tuesday into Wednesday. Squeezed up after hours, continued pre-market. But then, as we know, sold off at the open or at 7 a.m. And I was kind of bummed because I was like, man, I missed that clean part. And now I'm kind of overstaying. And you know what the problem is going to be on VSEE? I think traders are going to realize, holy smokes, I just missed an epic move after hours. And you know what? By tomorrow morning, most likely, this will be like, this was the cleanest move, and it'll be choppy. Now I could be wrong, but looking at the headline, VC Health and Ava Robotics partner developed telepresence solutions. I don't know. That's not like the cure for cancer. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't, I mean, it's a headline, but 188% on that, I'm not sure. I was happy to ride the momentum, but I don't want to overstay my welcome. So, man, what an unexpected way to finish the day. Sitting now $1,988, up 3,500 on VSEE, and I think I might have for a moment been up close to 4,000 on it, but gave back just a little bit. Pushing a little too hard. But that's been the story of the day. I've been pushing hard on all my trades today. I stepped up to the plate on BBLG. That was a mistake. Got smoked on that. Had some other losses. And, I went down today in the red. Remember my max loss, $7,500 on the account right now. Typically, I do set my max loss at my daily gain, whatever, my daily average is, my daily goal, I mean. But because the month of July was so epic, I decided to move my max loss up to 7,500, and I had done that like 2 weeks ago. I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. So I'll do a separate episode on July, in review. But July was a no red month. I mean, this was actually the best month of trading I'd had since December of 2021. So, $232,000. It's unbelievable. I don't even want to say it too loud because I had some guys here working the other day, and I know they were here just this morning. I think they're gone, but they've been working here every day. So I'm doing my recaps, and I'm like trying to keep it kind of low key because they haven't sent me a bill for the work yet, and I don't want them to give me the millionaire tax. So anyways, yeah, what a day. But you know what? I was in the red, nearly $7,500 today, and recovered. But here was the problem. So when I did my recap at noontime, I was like, I stuck around as long as I could, but I had to go. I had some things I was going to do with my kids this afternoon, and that was it. We just ran out of opportunities. There wasn't anything else. Now, if there was something between noontime and 4 p.m. that I missed, let me know, because I certainly didn't see it. This, by the way, was VSEE hitting the scanners this morning, right at 3 p.m., 4:30 p.m. When that news first came out. We had SQ with some news. Looks like SQ, VCNX, this one. And I did get a trade on VCNX, but a small one. The thing with this one is I thought this was going to be the one because the float's so low. But I saw the news. It's just a statement of changes in beneficial ownership, Form 4. I wasn't sure. That's kind of not usually as meaningful a headline. But we had a similar headline on NUZE, and that one went up quite a bit. So it looks like DRMA. I saw that one on the scans. But this was kind of the issue this afternoon, or at least not this afternoon because I'm not sure, but at least between 10 a.m. and like 11:30, there was nothing. I got a trade on IVP. The volume was so light on it. It just was like so slow. It looks like it's held up. But that one was so slow. WINT, that one's still holding up at 10. We got ISPO. What'd that one end up doing? I mean, holding up, but it's like, it just felt like there was nothing. And I guess, I said my next best chance for a nice, green trade is going to be tomorrow morning. And even then I was like, probably not going to have a great chance of that happening because it's a Friday. But actually what I neglected to think about was that there was the opportunity for breaking news after hours. And boy, that was actually, one of the cleanest moves we've seen in a while. But what's interesting is I traded it, even though this thing went up like $5 a share, I traded it so much more conservatively than I would trade pre-market breaking news. Why? Well, maybe partly because I was still red on the day and I knew I was pushing my luck. partly because it's towards the end of the day. And if I screw up, there's really no time left to recover it. Partly because I was supposed to be in the car with my wife 15 minutes ago running out to dinner, and she's wondering where I am. So I kind of knew that I was really short on time, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go slow. And then holy smokes. So I feel like if this same headline had come out pre-market and we'd had this kind of pulling away action, I would have traded it more aggressively. I might have been up, $10 or $15,000 on it, which still would have just been, in this case, recovering from some losses. But anyways, $3,500 is not bad. If you look at the 10-second chart, you can see a couple of distinctive pullbacks. You've got a little micro pullback there, little false break of 4. I got in and got out, and then I got back in. Then it breaks up to 438, I think it was. It dips down, it comes back up. That was a really nice trade right there to 450 to 5, and right there it goes straight to 550, and this was incredible. And I thought that was the top. I thought that was the top because of that big topping tail on that 10-second candle. It hit 650 and came back down to like 530. So I was like, I think that's it. But then this thing rallied back up. It pulls back, and when it comes back up again, I was like, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm getting back in. And my heart was kind of pounding on that trade because I was like, was this a mistake? But it pops up to 7, and I'm like, okay. Drops right back down to 6, pops back up, drops back down, and then I didn't take that trade there because I'd already started the recap, and I just thought, no, I don't want to push it. And I had given back 500. I guess it was right here. I gave back a little bit of profit right around there. So anyways, good job for those of you guys that stuck around. It's not my MO to be here from 6:30 in the morning until 5 o'clock at night. I don't think that's the goal of most day traders, to be trading that long. I mean, when you think about how much I'm up today right now, $2,000. $2,000 a day for, a 10-hour workday. I mean, yeah, that's good. I mean, in terms of hourly rate, it's $200 an hour. That's not bad for 10 hours of work. I mean, not a lot of people make $200 an hour. So if you think of it like that, it's not bad. But I guess for me, one of the things I love about trading is that freedom and independence, that I can do this generally in like 2 to 3 hours, from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., 10 a.m., and I'm done. And I don't need to be here all afternoon. Sometimes I feel like the days that I stick around longer will be days that I'm red, because I feel like I need to sort of, try to recoup a little bit or make a little bit more. And if I had not been red, I wouldn't have stayed that long. It reminds me of the story of the taxi drivers in the book by Annie Duke called Quit, where she talks about how the taxi drivers, the power of knowing when to walk away, the taxi drivers in New York, even when they're picking up like 0 fares, the weather's terrible, no one's, whatever, they still keep driving and driving for their full 12-hour shift. Whereas on days where they hit their goal real quick, they just leave and they're done. Once they hit their profit goal, they've covered the rent of the car and the gas and everything else, and they've hit their profit goal, they leave. So today, it just ended up taking, I guess, a lot longer to hit that goal. But she also argues that if they actually worked longer hours on the day when they were making a lot of money, and accepted that some days they will actually be operating at a loss because it's just so slow, in net total, they would make more money. I think it was like, I don't know, 15 or 20% more. It wasn't like a crazy percentage, but it was more. And I definitely think that extends to trading. And if we look at the last month, with all of these days where it was really hot, it definitely paid to be here and to trade longer and to try to really maximize on this little window here, which was the best week of the whole month for me, or of the whole year. So, that was a window where it made sense to be there for the extra hour, the extra 2 hours a day. And then when it's slow, it probably does make sense to just slow down. So nonetheless, going into Friday, I'm going to, stick with 5,000 share cap until I've crossed over $1,000 of profit. I'm really grateful that I was able to recoup the loss. And in fact, I've kind of made, well, so I was down 2,000 during, when I did my recap, and now I'm up 2,000. So, that's a $4,000 swing. And thanks to those two. And that was basically more than I was even planning to make tomorrow. I was thinking tomorrow maybe I could make 1,000, 1,500 if I got a couple nice trades pre-market. So I feel like in a way I've already covered what I was thinking I would get tomorrow, and I just did it after hours. So now the goal for tomorrow is just like, all right, you got kind of a second chance here at getting a good start to the month of August, right? So tomorrow, let's just go slow. And if there's something like this that looks awesome, I know what to do. I'll step up. But if I'm feeling like I'm getting desperate and I'm getting impatient and I'm starting to look at Nvidia or I'm starting to look at Tesla to get a trade, then maybe that's my cue just to walk away. Honestly, I don't think there's a high likelihood that tomorrow's going to be a no trade day, just because this market has been giving, pretty good opportunities every day. And in fact, today should be a much better day if I had been able to have the discipline to get out of this position a little sooner and not get so stubborn on it. So I still stand behind the fact that this loss, these losses were pretty self-inflicted, and today had the potential to be a totally decent day, and I screwed it up. And it would have been a totally decent day even if I had still left at 11:45 and not come back, if I'd had the sort of discipline to not take that stupid trade with so much size. That was my mistake. My trades on VSEE were much more conservative, and it ended up working out really nicely. So anyways, I'm pleasantly surprised with where I sit here, and I'm not going to take any more trades today. I'm just going to let this be it. So good job for those of you that were able to capitalize a little bit on these opportunities. Definitely unexpected, but green is good, and we'll be back at it first thing tomorrow morning. So those of you guys who are going to watch this as a recap on YouTube, I will, let's see. So there's two things I was going to say. So number one, if you haven't already checked out my micro pullback strategy, I'll put a link in the description for that, because that was the entry setup that I used on this trade on VSEE. It was the micro pullback right after that fresh breakout. So download that, print it out, study it, and you can start implementing that strategy in your own trading. But as always, as you're learning a new strategy, do me a favor and practice it in a simulator before you put real money on the line. Right? Because trading is risky. My results aren't typical. Just because it works for me isn't a guarantee it'll work for you. So that was number one. And then, well, now see, this time of the day, I'm not as, anyways, there was something else I was going to say, but I can't remember that. So it doesn't matter. Anyways, it's fine. So thank you guys as always for tuning in. I hope you hit the thumbs up. I hope you're subscribed to the channel. If you want to watch more episodes about trading strategy, just like this, there'll be some recommendations here at the end of this video. So check those guys out, and I'll see you guys back at it. I'll be live streaming bright and early tomorrow morning. I'll look at the scans probably around 6:30, as always on my phone, 6:30 a.m. If I see something that's looking really good, I'm going to be quick to get over here and sit down. VSEE is probably going to be on the scan because it's still up 150%, but I'm going to have to keep in mind, well, the after hours high as of right now is, 750. So where is it relative to that? I might see tomorrow morning it's up 120%, but well, that means it's actually still pulling back a little bit. So that's something to be aware of. But if we have that one going higher, or we have some others, that'll be worth noting. If we take a look just real quick on VSEE on the daily chart, let's just check our... just check a couple of our levels here. So we've got, yeah, that's what I thought. So 200 is around 11. We've got 14. So the 200 is definitely going to be that issue. And then this was that move back here at the beginning of June. That was nice. So yeah, I'm thinking resistance up around 11, and we're not, I mean, we're, we've got some room, but we're not too far away from it. So it'll be really interesting to see how this holds up going into the close of after hours at 8 p.m. Also interesting to see how VCNX holds up, because the float's pretty low on this one, but that headline form 4, usually those just aren't super meaningful. So this is going to be this person. So these are the number of shares that they've bought. Warrant, right to buy. Exercise date. Date exercisable. This is interesting. So amount acquired. So this person bought a good number of shares. It's a pretty significant number of shares. So, you know, it's actually an incredible number of shares relative to the float when you think about it. So what's his blended average price? 573, 641, 736. That is so interesting. Huh. Yeah, I mean, that is a very, and the float's already, I mean, that's a very bullish position. Anyways, I guess we'll see. So that's why the price is up as much as it is, but we'll see what that does going into tomorrow as well. I'm not sure. I was hoping it was going to rally right back up here and curl up towards 9 or 10. And this one has a bit more room up to that 200 moving average, but it ended up just pulling back a bit. So, all right. Well, that's that. Thanks as always for tuning in. I'll see you guys back at it first thing tomorrow morning.